Well, interoperability, it's a word, a buzzword, actually, that has been there for decades now. Actually, Swift reason of existence has always been interoperability. Interoperability of economies, actually connect more than 200 countries, and particularly their payments and securities infrastructures with each other, always with financial institutions playing a front and center role. And now we could say that interoperability probably is moving into a new era, interoperability of any forms of value, whether it is CBDCs in the payment space or actually tokenization of assets in the security space, which is an area where we're focusing extremely on when it comes to proof of concepts and sandboxes that we'll be sharing progress with the community as we move along, because that is clearly part of the how interoperability can play out going forward. But there is another angle to interoperability as well, which is the fact that there is a multiplicity of networks and systems that coexist to make sure that these economies can interoperate. And what Swift is doing is embracing all of these new innovations, actually from incumbents or new players coming to the international sphere, and that's why we are working hand in hand with many of them. There will be some announcements made at Sibos in that regard. But we're working with many of them in both allowing them to take advantage of all the data services that we have developed over the past few years when it comes to anomaly detection services, pre-validation services, traceability and tracking services, but also or making sure that we can provide data integrity end-to-end for the end customer, regardless of the network that is being used, whether the payment is initiated in Swift and ends up in another platform or vice versa. So a lot on that front, and again, yes, a big topic for Sibos.
Our family table. We've got the 3 startups that we're going to be working with as part of our challenge here, seated around the table. The first thing we're going to do, I'm going to ask them to stand up and introduce themselves. So first of all, Sergey, would you like to stand up and introduce yourself, please?
My name is Sergey Nazarov. I'm the CEO of smartcontract.com.
In the future, we'll integrate with Chainlink. The bank will do off-chain payments through Swift. Then this payment information will pass from the Swift API to the Chainlink Oracle and the Chainlink Swift Oracle.
Yes, I was kind of surprised at the appetite which senior folks had for actually implementing the technology in the near term. So when I started the challenge, that the degree of appetite didn't exist, and by the end of the challenge, I had a very genuine feeling that this was a priority on a senior level agenda that was going to go to production in the near term, which I was very impressed by.
The news continues to point to the fact that, are we going to have a Liz Truss moment in the U.S. with all this debt and all this issuance? Well, we're going to pay close attention. We're going to be on top of that auction today, Joe, see what happens. Back to you.
Very good, Rick. Stay with us. Steve Leisman joins us now with more. Back.
Not a day goes by that I don't read some analysis of incredulity about the size of the auctions and the bonds and the treasuries that we're selling. I completely appreciate Rick's concern here that could there be a skip in the matrix and all of a sudden it doesn't work. It seems, I don't know if Rick is still there, it is remarkable that we're selling this number, this amount of bonds every day, but nobody believes in it. And I will say, Rick, that we need to go on the record. You've been on the record. I want to be on the record as well, saying, unless there's a sense that we're on a path of sanity when it comes to the amount of people will buy them with the belief that something's going to get better in the future. But right now, there is no particular belief out there of any coming improvement. And that's all the government has to do. And it's not doing even that minimum.
You know what, Steve? This is by far, I've been doing this, been in the market since 1979. Hey, listen, this is by far the scariest thing ever because, you look at where stocks are. We're toying with 40,000 on the Dow. We're carrying all this debt. If there is a Liz Truss moment, I'm looking at the camera. It's not going to be pretty. It'll be very ugly. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the fact is that we have 37 people involved in this government, and none of them are man or woman enough to really take a stand here. Because if we wait till something happens, which is the way we seem to do everything in this condition, and waiting till something happens will be game, set, almost match, in my opinion. So somebody better wake up in D.C.
There's no canary in the coal mine. The coal mine just kind of collapses, is the way I think it works. Now,
and can I just ask what you guys mean by that? You mean that all of a sudden nobody would buy?
All of a sudden there's a failure, and look, they're taking them down, and every day Rick comes on and gives them a C or a D, and I think it's an A or a B because it happened. Standards are a little lower than Rick's. I'm not saying Rick's wrong about this, but he comes on and he looks at the when issue, the this and that, which is fine. But to me, the fact that they're even selling this amount of bonds is incredible. I want to be a little. First of all, you have institutions around the world, around the country, that are able to now buy some of this long debt and match some of their liabilities in ways they couldn't before. And in general, Rick, even when the when issue is worse, they seem to do a little bit better on the back end, so it doesn't really amount to a whole lot of losses, at least in the next day.
No, but it's the only way. It's the only way I can let investors and people know that there's an issue by looking at it. You know, you're right that even if you see the market rally and rates fall after an auction, it doesn't necessarily mean it was a good auction. It means it wasn't an aha moment. It was what it really means. And to answer Becky's question, your question, it's not necessarily a failure. What I worry about is that the price of poker is going to escalate very quickly, and the amount of add-on term premium that'll be put into this system because of this debt will hurt. And who will it hurt most? It'll hurt servicing the debt most, because if you think lowering rates now is maybe because the government's worried it can't afford its own debt, just imagine if the long end of the market goes to 6, 7, 8%. Then the government's cost is going to skyrocket.
Well, look at the German 2-year versus the 10-year versus the American 10-year.
Right.
Why are we the center of capital in the world? Why do we pay the most for money in the world? And it's not because, by the way, our ability to pay. If you look at America in terms of coverage ratio, if we were like a company, tremendous coverage ratio. Those assets, it's willingness to pay, and it's the trajectory of the debt. Now, I have been an optimist on this, and it has been right to say the world would not come to an end at previous debt levels. It's today when I look at it, and I do not see relief down the road. When I look at a relatively robust economy, and I see these high deficits, it makes me nervous for what happens if the economy is not this strong. What happens to the debt and deficit? And then again, when you think about
what do you have to pay at that point to get people to live?
Right, and then what happens to people who are in need in the event of a downturn? What is the ability of the government to help them if we have that kind of downturn?
Zero ability.
And that's the scary part.
Right? It needs to be part of the conversation. It shows up in our poll as an issue of import when it comes to the deficit. I'll leave it there except to say that there's a big number here for the second month in a row on computer spending, and I continue to be interested in the extent to which the investment in AI is soaking up investments from other places in the economy. It's just something I'm watching.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every
private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And
welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Please inform your friends and family and spread it all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book. Remember, the New World Order book shows you how the world really works, and it is definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep, especially in the times that we're in right now. And 2024 is going to be one of our most entertaining years. We have the presidential election. We have the drums are beating. We have the emerging markets going to be flipping the switch on the fourth industrial revolution. Now, we had the Fed signal rate cuts, but remember, guys, they haven't cut rates yet. So like I told you, I definitely see a big pullback in the first quarter. Then the master magician set up a distraction so the Fed can cut rates, and then we move up. And also, guys, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, much love to those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon. Much love. Keep it coming. Guys, if you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you're donating to the channel through the actual Cash App. But guys, this next Bitcoin and crypto bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure you have the cryptos that have real utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we had Bitcoin and crypto move up yesterday, plus this morning. As I'm doing this video, we are pulling back. Now we have Coinbase BTC supply hits 9-year low. Also, we had a whale move over 6 billion worth of BTC for the first time since 2019. And we know that's not a whale, that's a bank. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now, do not forget we have futures on Thursday instead of Friday because of the holiday. So we're definitely going to be on a roller coaster ride. Now, guys, do not forget to pay attention to the actual indicators. We have yield rates, which are up right now. We have the dollar, which is down. We have volume in crypto, which is up. We have Tether and USDC. And we have Binance to discontinue USD support on the Tron blockchain. Also, we have Paxos and Hashnote partner for PayPal stablecoin and USYC token integration. And then, guys, we have the Fed. Repo yesterday was at $473 billion. And we finally had CNBC actually tell us the truth. And guys, that's the scary part. Because, anytime we're getting the truth, a crisis is right around the corner. And I'm going to go into more detail in the second video. But we see all this debt, guys. But we know all this debt came from all the money printing. And we know the Fed is raising rates on the inflation that they caused. And the same way they said, oh, inflation is not a problem, it's transitory. Now we have interest rates higher for longer, and they should have been start lowering rates because we know it takes a year to 2 years for these rates to seep into the economy. We know that consumers are hurting, small businesses are hurting, but that's what they want. Remember, guys, we're in a fragmented world. They have to destroy this whole legacy market in order for the fourth industrial revolution to rise. And on CNBC, they admitted that they're manipulating the yields. And eventually this thing is going to break. But remember, it's problem, reaction, solution. And that's the reason why they're tokenizing all these treasuries. They already have the solution ready. They're already ready to push that button. But to the sheep, they have to make it seem like we're in chaos. So therefore they can bring on the fourth industrial revolution. Whether robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now, do not forget about the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We have BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale all down. And getting over into a little crypto news. We have London Stock Exchange will start market for Bitcoin and Ethereum ETNs May 28th. And guys, remember, all these products, all these legacy products are now crypto products. And this is globally. They're all moving in lockstep. I don't care what country you go to. Now, we had Galaxy Digital in 2023 net income of $296 million. What a difference a year makes. And then we have FTX, which Galaxy Digital we know is in charge of their fund, to sell $884 million of Anthropic shares to 24 institutional investors. And since the FTX collapse, you just keep seeing billions and billions show up. And then we have back with a $226 million net loss in 2023. And we know there's no reason for them to be losing money unless there's definitely a plan. We know they're connected to ICE. Now we have Coinbase International sees record daily trading volume in March. Now we have Binance Labs invest in Stakestone as it continues to bet big on restaking sector. And when it comes to the staking sector, we know there's going to be drama, but we know how important staking is going to be. That's the reason why you want to stake, but to have your crypto in your possession. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have the movie continues. I went over this last night. We have Greg Garlinghouse says the SEC to press judge for $2 billion in fines and penalties in Ripple case. And don't forget, guys, in that case, even though they said XRP to sell to retail investors was a security, but to sell to institutional investors, it was a security. That was the judge ruling. So we knew a fine was definitely going to come down. And Ripple also knew that the fine was coming. But remember, guys, this is all a movie. All these cases the SEC is bringing on is just to kick the regulation can down the road. But we know that regulation is definitely coming for stable coins this year. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And then lastly, guys, we have Swift plans to launch a new central bank digital currency platform in 12 to 24 months. But we know that platform is already ready. When they're telling us it's 12 to 24 months, that means it's been ready 9 to 10 years ago. We can even go back on YouTube and see these old videos when they're speaking of all this technology that they're actually working on. And remember, CBDCs keep the central banks in control. They can hand out as many stable coins as they want as long as they're pegging them to a CBDC. That allows them to control the money supply. But with stable coins or CBDCs, they're going to be programmable. They can tell you what, where, and when and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend them or poof, it's gone. And then, of course, we have Chainlink. Chainlink brings all these chains together, interoperability, so then therefore Swift gets the all-seeing eye. They will know you better than you know yourself. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. Because all I have for you, don't forget about the books, Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Xrp, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.